Hey there everyone, progress update video. Uh, this update has been focused on performance for the past couple of weeks now. So let's get into it. Well, I'll go with the easy stuff first. Um, so audio, both in the main screen and within the editor, if you were using WAV files, MP3s, etc. for animation, every once in a while, whenever you disable the audio within the editor and you're adding UI elements or you're deleting them or manipulating them, as it's refreshing the screen, you would hear a, fraction of a second audio clip as it attempts to play and then realize you've muted the audio. But it was very annoying, especially if you want everything quiet and you're concentrating and you would hear this click, click, So anyway, audio, when you've set it to off in both the main window and within the editor, no longer plays any audio, okay? So that's all fixed. Also, on the main window, the view will now utilize as much of the available space within this window that it can. And even when using various aspect ratios, obviously if you're using stretch, it's going to utilize pretty much every part that it can without any kind of visible vertical or horizontal border. But it doesn't really matter. I'm running in 4K, so this is already configured to kind of like a 16:9. Also, when changing the Windows state, so as you can see, I'm in a maximize state, and I go to when I restore the window so I can resize it. There are times where you resize the window and the view needs to be reloaded. And in order to reload it, the first thing it does, it regenerates the code. It regenerates the code and then fires the new code back at the preview window, okay? Well, while all those operations are going on, Windows is resizing the window and all the events that are triggered with that, like placement of buttons, changing the the maximize button to a restore button or vice versa, things like that. There are UI elements or UI events being triggered. Well, the problem is with my code being invoked and Windows wanting to do certain things at the same time, it becomes a bottleneck. And that bottleneck results in the window not being able to be moved around the screen. And not only can you not move, but everything within the preview area is frozen. And if you move your mouse to the bottom of the screen, you'll see that it cannot advance into the taskbar area. Okay, so you have to Alt-Tab, switch to another application, and then Alt-Tab back again to the Community Theme Creator to unlock it. Well, I fixed that too. And in doing so, or in order to fix it, what I've done is the code generation process that generates the view, generates the XAML code for the view that you've currently selected, is actually generated in parallel with whatever Windows events are going on. So if you're maximizing a window or even just simply resizing a window, all of these processes are running side by side. They're using different threads. Okay, so now you're not getting this collision or bottleneck. All right, so that took a little bit of finagling, but I got it done. And also with the code, talking of the code generation, I've tweaked the code generator to be a little bit more efficient and faster in hunting for all the properties for a given UI element as it's building its code. So that does make it a lot more efficient now. So if you have very complex themes or complex views with a lot of UI elements and whatnot, the trade-off is hopefully I can generate the code a lot faster than you're witnessing today because of these efficiencies that I've plugged into the code generator. Now, some of the just as important, more important, equally important, if I click on a games view, as you can see, I already have all the games currently loaded. And that games list equates to 8,400 games. Okay, so I have 8,400 games in this list on the left-hand side. Okay, and I can click on these games, no problem. The metadata is retrieved very quickly. I am going to jump from, let's say, one platform view, I don't know, let's say Super Nintendo, and that is, what is this? 779 games. Okay, 779. And then I'm going to flip back to all games. And that's how fast it was able to clear and repopulate that list with 8,400 games. Also, with a list that large, there were issues in 2.3 whereby if you click on the configuration and you wanted to be able to copy your view to a platform-specific configuration, it would take seconds for this list to even pop up. Likewise, if you were to click in 2.3, this is like a drop-down list. If you were to click this drop-down list in 2.3, again, it would take seconds to populate that list and display it to the user. Also, when it came to resizing the window, with this list being as large as it is, the resizing of the window was certainly not as snappy as this. Okay, and I can demonstrate that by opening up the last forum build that I put out there, version 2.3, and I happen to have copied the plain and simple theme over to the theme creator. And the application hasn't even launched yet. It's thinking about it. Well, it's launched, it's just not rendered. It's still going. All right. So, yeah, it's registering 8,400 games. I've clicked on another view. And I'm going to Windows Restore. It restored, but it's still doing an awful lot of UI events. It's yet to truly resize the content within the window. Okay, it's done that piece. Now it's generating the code to redisplay. Now, let's try and resize the window. I'm resizing. All right, I'll let go of the left mouse button. Still nothing. I'll get there eventually. Or not. Okay, it finally caught up. And like I was saying, and it still hasn't drawn the area correctly. Now, if I click on the configuration, it still hasn't displayed the list. Now it has. So, as you can see, massive performance gains in 2.5 versus the current build on the forum. Okay, now I can close the app. All right, so let's go back to 2.5. All right, see, it's a lot faster to load. It's a lot faster to retrieve. So basically I've rewritten all the XML database retrieval processes, made them a lot more efficient. And another place, and I've done that application wide. And one of the places where I've leveraged this too is when it comes to rendering custom images. So if I go in and say, I want to render my entire games collection to use this template and just let it go, the first thing it did was build a XML database of my entire game collection. And then this process will read that list and it understands how it should render these images, you know, based on the game and platform associated with that game and so on and so forth. That's nothing new. I'm just using a different technique. I'm using a XML file as opposed to a custom text file. The beauty of this is, as this is being processed, I'm actually updating each of the XML game entries to say you've been processed. So in the event I hit cancel. Did I hit cancel? I did hit cancel. When I restart, it will jump to the next entry that is yet to be processed. Okay. And I was doing a similar technique, but it was very, very inefficient. Now, one of the things I have done, if you do use custom images and you do interrupt the rendering, you'll notice here that the modifier is flashing. That's telling you really that there is something that needs your attention. So as you hover over it, you can see the exclamation mark now over the custom image modifier. That in itself is nothing new, but at least you can see at a glance there is something that needs your attention. And then if I click this, it says, do you wish to continue rendering? And it will continue from where it left off. If I hit cancel, it will flash again. I click this, and this time I'm going to say no. It will remove the alert. It will remove the XML render list that it was using to render the list. So if I go back to views and then click edit, I did make a couple of changes to the UI elements list too. So for example, this parent here, frame 2, if I click the lock, it locks the parent that I clicked on, plus all its nested children. It automatically locked those. And if I go to any one of these children and try and unlock it, it will not allow you to. So the control is at the parent level. Okay. So I can go down to this this child element, which also happens to be a parent, and it will only lock these two children, and then lock in this parent, and so on and so forth. Okay. Same is true if you wish to hide certain UI elements and basically prevent them from being rendered on screen. You can do the same. Works the same way. So again, if I uncheck at the Canvas 2 level, it unchecks its associated children. Okay, and I can't click on the children to enable them, which doesn't make sense. You really have to enable the parent. So it's enforcing that relationship. There you go. It's back again. Now, there was a reason why I've introduced a Blackpink video. They're in town. They're in Dallas next month. I won't be in town. I'll be in Las Vegas for my birthday. But anyway, they're here. And what I've done here is grid 6. I applied a circular image, a perfect circle that I'm using as an opacity mask. And then within that, I have videos, which I no longer have to stretch, and I haven't applied any masks to. They are rectangular videos, as you can see. All right, and all I've done is just centered them, like perfectly centered them within the canvas. And the parent, obviously, the overall parent, grid 6, is circular. Anything in it will have to be bound within that circular mask. So you end up with this look, which I thought was kind of cool. With the exception of Blackpink, if you don't like K-pop, of course. But anyway, I just wanted to kind of demonstrate that. It's quite a common use case to have videos inside non-rectangular shapes. So I just wanted to kind of at least cover that and give an actual use case for it. So I don't want to save this view. I'll just leave as is. Let's see. I have changed the sidebar a little bit. So I have an icon here for hide sidebar. I've hidden the sidebar. Show sidebar. You can jump to theme manager from here. So like I said, I've added a couple of menu icons there. Change the title of the theme manager a little bit just to give it an icon. Just yeah, I mean that's pretty much it. It's just performance improvements everywhere. I think you're really gonna love it. I enjoy it. I'm not fighting the application anymore to get things done. So yeah, I've been I'm very, very pleased with how this is playing out so far. So that really leaves wheel item templates, and now that I've figured out how to do or perform more efficient lookups to the metadata databases, I feel more confident and what's the word? Definitely confident, but ensuring that the performance of the wheels is not going to be degraded to the point of, you know, they're not useful within the editor. I mean, they'll work very well, and they will have all the metadata text and images that you throw at it, and it should be able to pull that relatively quickly. So I'm pretty excited to see how this plays out. So that is definitely my next thing, now that I've got all these things kind of ironed out. So I'll be working on that over this weekend and hopefully have some more to show for the next video. Okay, so until then, take care, everyone. I hope you like what you see, and I'll see you in a couple of weeks.